We are now live on YouTube. We can start.
A very good evening to our wonderful audience from the real estate fraternity. We are back again with yet another Mahi talk for you. The Mahi Superwomen, as you are aware, in the last 4 years have been doing a range of knowledge series on various topics of interest to the real estate women and also men. This is our 42nd Mahi Talk. We have done a lot of series on skilling. We have done series on RERA. We've done a lot on mental agility, and it's varied topics. We've had some of the most accomplished women come here as speakers and address our lovely women. Today, I have with us another gem. Her name is Miss Manisha Kapoor. She's been with the World Bank, she's been with McKinsey, she's been with Wipro, and doing amazing work. And today we are going to have a discussion on a very fascinating topic and something which I feel is the need of the hour. Because if you see our Mahi women, we are all super women. If you see the real estate women, they are all super women. But does the world see us as such? Is the world willing to give us that seat on the table? What is it that differentiates a hard-working, capable person from another person who is also hardworking but gets that seat at the table? When you want that seat at the table, you need executive presence. You need people to believe in you. You need people to have that confidence. Yes, she can do it. She's not just a good manager, she's a born leader. You walk into a room and people realize the boss has arrived. How do we master this? And I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with that. Some of you have it, some of you will have to develop it. But without that, there is no CEO room, there is no corner room, and there is no seat at the table. So this today is a skill which cannot be missing if you are ambitious, if you want to be even more successful than what you are, then this 1 hour is the most precious hour for you. Along with Manisha Kapoor, we also have with us Ms. Priya Shah, somebody who's very dear to me. She's a chartered accountant, she's an NLP coach, she's a lot of things. But during the discussions, you will get to know more about her from her. So, my dear friends, like I said, Manisha Kapoor, what is she going to do for us today? How long does it take for people to notice your power? Please ask yourselves that question. If you have the answer, fantastic. If you do not have the answer, then Manisha is here with that answer for us. Manisha Kapoor helps women answer that question every day. A transformation executive coach, facilitator, and culture strategist. She brings 25 years of experience across sectors and continents. And like I told you, McKinsey, World Bank, and a wide range of Fortune 500 mission-driven organizations rely on her for her advice. I would also like to add, today she is doing this voluntarily for our women, for our Mahi women. And I would request all of you to share the YouTube recordings with all your WhatsApp groups and on your social media as well. Hashtag Naredko Mahi, hashtag Mahi Talks. Manisha has coached and mentored mid to senior women leaders across nationalities and across industries. Therefore, I would encourage all of you in the Q&A section to please interact with her and frankly, with an open heart, open soul, and open mind, take her valuable advice. This 1 hour she has dedicated to us, and let us not lose this opportunity. Her work sits at the intersection of strategic thinking, deep listening, and authentic communication. And her sessions are known to spark mindset shifts that stay long after the room has emptied. And that is why I have personally invited her to have this discussion with you. Earlier in her career, Manisha believed her work would speak for itself. Don't we all women do that at home and at workplace? We are embarrassed to praise ourselves. We are embarrassed to tell others, I did this. We just keep doing it, but half the time it gets noticed, the other half it doesn't get noticed. When there is no mess, then nobody knows you've cleaned up the mess. But today, we are going to put everything on the table which is needed for all of us women to achieve our highest, greatest dreams and become our best version. Visibility isn't about performance, she says, it's about presence. And so, I would not take more time and I would go straight to Manisha Kapoor. Manisha, thank you so very much for dedicating this 1 hour to us. Manisha, before we move further to your presentation and all the points that you have written down, specifically keeping us and our audience in mind, please share the exciting and the challenges and whatever you faced at the World Bank and, McKinsey and Wipro. How was your journey?
Wow. First of all, Dr. Ananta, let me thank you for inviting me here and sharing and creating this platform. And oh my God, I've not had so much praise at one go together. So I really thank you for that, Dr. Ananta. So 25 years, I didn't start like this. I started as a humble economist and I joined McKinsey and I was like, hey, you know what? I love working with people and helping them get better at their communication and presence and working with people a lot more than just being a person behind the screen number crunching. And so my earliest memories of when I started my career was, if you were to look at me, a shy little girl who's just started in the world and hiding behind a desk and not really coming out and just doing the work. So that was the version that I started with. So, to all those who are listening here, there is hope. If there was hope for me, this is what we're talking about. Creating your presence is absolutely possible for everybody. Everybody, and I can vouch for that because I've helped women and men create both of that. So, my early experience in McKinsey, I spent good over a decade there, was learning the art of learning in terms of it's a full mindset shift that happened for me. And I think that was the first power I received and I learned. I call McKinsey my mother ground in terms of a lot that McKinsey has taught me and a lot that it helped me recognize my own strengths, which I was not aware of. So I think that really shifted the equation for me in terms of, hey, I can do this. I think that confidence got instilled in me early on in my career with McKinsey. So that was, I would say, a big, big learning piece. And McKinsey did help me transition from being an economist to a learning and development head, leading trainings and communication and leadership, and also eventually working with McKinsey clients directly. So there was a whole journey where I felt very supported and I had a lot of mentors helping me reach there. One one point when I had reached, which I think especially women out here would acknowledge, may recognize it a lot more, is I had both my babies when I was in McKinsey. Okay. And I'm kind of proud to say that I got my promotion in McKinsey when I was 8 months pregnant. So it was unheard of those days when you were expecting and getting promoted. And I was like, okay, I'm at the right place. So, in terms of, I think that was reassuring. And it was also, I think, very forward, way back in early 2003, 2004, that had happened. So, that was also another turning point. Then 11 years, I moved gears and I was like, if I don't leave McKinsey, I probably will not see the entire world. And I wanted that expansion and things. So I left with a heavy heart, but with a lot of friends who continue to stay friends now, even after so many years. And that's, I think, the power of how McKinsey grooms you. So that was a I couldn't have asked for a better learning ground. Then I moved on to being an entrepreneur, solopreneur for many years, where I learned to be a coach. So I'm an executive coach since 2010 now. And there I met people from different spheres of life, different Fortune 500 companies that I worked with, I ran programs for. And there, one thing that I noticed, and even as I started coaching women, was that their belief in themselves was less. And it has got nothing to do with how accomplished we are. I think it's the society that kind of we get tuned into, especially in India, I feel. And, that, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, she's going to take a maternity leave and disappear and won't come back. Her priorities will shift. So there are all these kind of thinking or subconscious patterns that exist. And my tryst with that started post McKinsey, because in McKinsey I did not experience it, but outside of McKinsey I started experiencing that. And that's when I had a lot of women come to me for coaching in terms of how do I deal with this. And that's where my work with gender, etc., started. And there, fundamentally, the first thing that I work on with women who I work with, and whether as a coach or whether as a trainer or a mentor or a guide, is let's get the mindset right. Let's do that. Then, so that continued for a bit. And then I actually had IFC, International Finance Corporation, which is the private arm of World Bank, reach out to me that we like your work and we've heard about it and we want you to come and work with us. And I was like, totally in the developed world and a lot of Fortune 500 companies, that was my first tryst with with the underdeveloped world. I would not even say developing, but actually underdeveloped world. And I've been to the strangest of places there. And so I was dealing with personal transformations, personal change one-on-one. With World Bank, I got the exposure and an opportunity to work globally with organizations wanting to transform and with a special focus of World Bank on women. So that was in terms of, okay, how do you create or help women in financial inclusion through the banking sector? How do
So
you?
Manisha, out of these three organizations and various other Fortune 500s where you've coached women, can you share with us one transformational change or one project of yours or a person whom you really your teachings or the learnings had a deep impact and kind of it was a strategic inflection point for the individual? Would you be in a position to share any one such case study in short?
There are many. Let me just do a little jog of my memory in terms of which one to share. This was
So
in
Priya, coming to you while she's still rolling that over, um, did you in your early years, were you in your early years also shy and it took you time to kind of become this person that we see today, whom we are completely wowed with, be it
So
knowledge or wit
just
or
like Manisha ji
interactions?
put it across, I was a very shy girl
Hmm.
until I think I turned a teenager. I was someone who was like a mama's baby, mama's pallu, never out of her shadow. Anywhere she would go, I would go with her. If she left me somewhere, I would run back. From there, my dad thought that this girl cannot survive in this world, very difficult. And he thought that he should train me in some way that I become outspoken, I become an extrovert, and pretty grateful and thankful to him for whatever he thought and he put it in practice for me. So he's the man who changed me 360 degrees, and people who see me now do not believe that I was ever shy. But yes, he taught me how to change. And what Manisha ji was just referring to, over the years, we've been in real estate, finance, and all of these fields. Any field you take, you may say that it's a male dominated, but even which are not male dominated, we always see women not ready, like they're not prepared to take the recognition that is due to them. Forget about stealing recognition for something which is not due to them. If you've done something, it's not owning the responsibilities, owning you could be a role model for people. you are successful, if you don't have to flaunt your success, but at least accept your success so that people take you as a role model and they emulate you. You could be someone who could help many women just become successful by sharing your story. But women are not trained to do this. They feel that it is not right for them to do this. And just before the call, I was talking to Manisha ji and I was just telling her the same thing. Yesterday, I met a set of women who are scared to invest. They are better managers of money. But because they've been told that their husbands, fathers, or sons should handle the money better for them, they don't try to do it. So I think we've all come across women, and I'm sure Anantaji, you too have come across many of these people not owning up their success.
Yeah. So, Priya, to be honest with you, अगर आप shy और introvert हैं और चुपचाप से अपना काम कर रहे हैं, तो भी ठीक नहीं है, because you have to kind of, project
It's a
yourself
balance
in
you
the
have
right
to
manner to
maintain.
go.
It's a
Yeah,
balance you have to
yeah.
maintain. You do
And
not overpower and overshadow people, but at the same time, you should get your value worth so that it's just not for yourself. It makes you feel happy. You are better placed to. Women feel that, I even like I do it for my family. If you are better empowered, you can help you do the same thing. Your intentions are good, but you can do it in a more powerful way.
Yeah. So Priya, my early years were exactly the opposite. I have always been this high energy person. I've always been too much of an extrovert, and I've been too straightforward. And what you see is what you get. So all the coaching that I got in my life, whether it was at home or whether it was at school or whether it was at my workplace, was like easy.
Cool down.
And it was only when, once my father, in a very loving manner, he put his point across in a very subtle way. And, whatever dads say, that really hits you.
Impacts.
So he told me, he says, बेटे, बरगद के पेड़ के नीचे और कोई पेड़ नहीं उग पाता है. So he had heard me saying something to somebody which he thought was not right as a leader, as a boss, as a whatever. And he overheard that and he said, Kuch nahi ho pata hai. And at that time, also I had a jawab for that. So I said, a bargat ka peड़ carries a whole ecosystem and a whole world over it. कितने उसके ऊपर घोंसले होते हैं, कितनी चिड़िया होती है, कितनी ये होती है. So that was a retort that went out. But I actually thought about it. And I thought and thought, and from that day onwards, I had made up my mind. I said, no, my job now should be to offer that hand and say, आप भी बनो बरगद का पेड़. Firstly, I never saw myself as a bargat ka ped. I was just doing a job, a simple job, and I was doing it to the best of my ability. And when you're handling P&L, then you have to be pushy, you have to chase those targets. There is no other way for an organization to grow if everybody is not thinking alike and if every part is not contributing, you see. So sales and marketing are, all about tenacity, resilience, and all the rest of the adjectives. So Manisha, are you ready with your story?
Yes, absolutely. I'll get on with my story, but I want
We
to
are itching to hear that, and so are our listeners. Tell us.
Yes, in fact, before I get into that story, I want to acknowledge what you just said about, marketing and sales is all about pushing and resilience and stuff and going at it. And there is a huge subconscious bias around that. If women are seen like go-getters and doing that, they're seen as aggressive. But if men do that, they're seen as ambitious. So that's
So as far as I'm concerned, Manisha, everybody forgot I'm a woman. It's only for 10 minutes they remember when I enter a room. After that,
but there's a
nobody
gender
cares, woman
association.
or man. It's just all about work and professional discussions. Would you agree with that, Priya?
Absolutely, ma'am. But it's only that the main mindset that we need to change when we talk about gender equality and inclusivity is that why do we go on the fact that a man can do this and a woman can do this? It's a human being who can do this or not do that according to the
Absolutely.
strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
And we always say men can do this, women can do this. No, even many things women are supposed to do, but they don't do it that well. And some men can do it much better.
Yes.
So if we
So
can
let's
have
hear your
that
story,
mindset, that
Manisha.
do something that holds true for you, which you have
Yeah.
a strength to do, perform that rather than a role which a society gives you because of your gender.
Very
Absolutely.
valid point, Priya. Beautiful point. Manisha, let's hear your story now because I
Okay.
don't want your PPT time to eat into
No, that's
anything else.
okay. We can
Yeah.
all. So this is a young professional, and I was working in Uzbekistan at that time with World Bank Group, and we were doing a transformation, which was movement. I think the presidential diktat was to get into privatization and come. I'm sorry, Dr. Ananta, I'm not able to hear you. Okay. So it was really in terms of, okay, how do we move to a commercial bank rather than being just a government-owned bank? So this girl was there, a young one, and she had just passed out from she did her master's and had just joined. And when I was working there and I was doing the change management piece for this bank, and we got talking, and she was like, how do you do it? You go talk to the CEO, and in the next breath, you're going talking and meeting the junior most person in the organization. And how do you shift? And I was like, they're all human beings. And I didn't realize that had a huge impact. She says, no, but he's the CEO. I was like, yes, he's a human first. And then through a lot of those conversations, um, and we just started, she wanted to spend more and more time. So I just took her on and we would go for all our meetings and everything together. And since she spoke Russian, she became my unofficial translator as well, interpreter as well. And there, couple of things that she told me that she learned were that to see at an equal level in terms of not seeing in my mindset that I am somewhere lower or I regard myself lower than the other person or that I regard myself superior to the other person. So it was that mental shift that she did. And I also have a framework around that, which I created henceforth, actually. And now when I see her, this is about 10 years now, I see her leading that department there in that organization. I see her leading a lot of conferences, international global conferences, and also putting her point forward on LinkedIn quite often. And maybe I haven't shared it with her, but I'm so damn proud to see her that she has come at such a far journey. And I think what really triggered the change for her is the mindset shift that happened. So that's what she told me, that this is what worked for me
Wonderful.
because I couldn't imagine. So I thought, I mean, there are many, many such stories, but I'll stick to one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'll just quote your line itself. How you carry yourself can shape how you are heard, remembered, and respected.
Yes.
I think that says it all, you know. So, Manisha, this is a beautiful line from you. How you carry yourself can shape how you are heard, remembered, and respected. So, I think the carrying yourself is has so many pieces in it, whether it is body language, your choice of words, your posture, your attire, so it's once you start, imbibing all of that, then it becomes a part of you. But initially, a lot of people have to work on each of those aspects. Which is the aspect which is stopping you from being heard, remembered, and respected? So, those three baskets, I think. With that, Manisha, please, I would request you to start with your presentation and share your presentation with us, please. And from here on, Priya will be taking over. Before I sign off, I would request everybody to please come and join us for our 17th National Convention on 29th and 30th of this month at the Ashoka. And that's going to be a manthan of lots of ideas and beautiful discussions. So many ministers are coming, so many bureaucrats are coming, and a lot of celebrities will be there. But most importantly, everyone who is serious about real estate will be under one roof. So thank you. With that, I would sign off. Thank you for being a very patient audience. And Priya, over to you, our vice president and our brilliant superwoman, Here she is. And Manisha, please go ahead with your
Yes, ma'am.
presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for everything, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Ananta. Appreciate all this and thanks for your time here as well. So give me a moment. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, are you able to see my full screen? Okay, I need to swap this. Are you all, if you could just help me here, Priya, are you able to see my full screen or what are you seeing?
You can see a screen, but it's not a full screen. It is just equivalent to your picture now.
Ah, okay.
You'll have to enlarge it. There could be a button which could.
I just did that a bit ago. And so do you see a full screen now?
No, it's not a full screen, though I can see that it's a mindset, foundation mindset. I can see what is written, but
Mm-hmm.
it's big enough.
It's
It's
not
clear.
big enough? Okay. Let me try. Oh,
No, no, no. If you do that, then you increase the size of the font, but I need the frame to be bigger, not the fonts.
okay, let me see what I can.
Ma'am, you can try sharing one part of your screen like you did last.
Exactly, that's what I'm doing my best to do that. Is this coming up now?
Ma'am, the screen size, the frame size is the same.
Frame size is the same. Oh gosh, okay.
You could actually read that if it's not working otherwise, because it's visible. Yeah, now it's okay.
Now you're able
Perfect.
to see it properly?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. So here, what we're talking about, and based on the experiences I've had, what I've noticed is when you have to create your presence just by yourself, being you as you step into the room, the first and most important thing for us, everyone to consider is our mindset. What is our frame of reference? How are we seeing ourselves? Do we have the inner confidence or not? And because however we are feeling, believe me, that's how your impact is going to be. The second most fundamental thing for you to kind of really look at is the visual. How am I? What's the It's not just about the attire you wear, but it's about how your physicality is in terms of how you're carrying yourself. What's your posture? What is it that's, if you're walking into a room, I would say it's easier because you can see all of me, right? But when you're in even a virtual setting like we are right now, how do you still create your visual presence? Going to delve into that. Then the third is really the vocal. I mean, it'll take me probably 1 minute to really bore you to death with just my vocals, right? But I don't want to do that, right? So I want to project that energy in my vocals to make sure that I catch your interest and your ears in terms of wanting to listen. So that's really the voice aspect of vocal. The fourth is really the key messages or the content that we're supposed to share. And it's about how we share it. That's very, very important. It's not about, um, you know, how we are how we are saying what we're saying in terms of, is that direct? Is it really carrying the weight in terms of the key messaging? Is it structured properly? Or are we using all the garbled, so many words where I don't even know or the pace at which I'm going and I don't know what I want to say? So this is kind of garbled speech. So there we don't want to kind of get there. So that's really about the content and structure. And the last piece we're going to kind of pause around, 10 minutes before 4 o'clock, so 3:50, in terms of I'm happy to answer any of your questions that you would have to ensure that you get value for this 60 minutes in terms of the time that you're spending here. So let me start with the mindset piece. So mindset, as a lot of you already know, and we've spoken about it, is the mental attitude or the disposition that we have in terms of how do we feel ourselves in that moment internally. It's our inner state. And a lot of times nerves are natural. And what I like to do is, and I started out my career with having a lot of nerves. I sometimes still do, but it's about how you manage that inner state. And a growth mindset kind of really helps us, where we are looking at, okay, I'm learning from this experience. And when we look at Henry Ford saying, whatever you think you can, or you can't, you're right. Which means you actually know that when I'm walking into a room and this is what I think I can do, you're right, you can do that. And when you actually think about, oh, you know what, I can't do this, you are right, you won't be able to do it. Because that's how we have manifested ourselves from our mindset perspective. So a while ago, when I was talking to Dr. Ananta, I shared the story from Uzbekistan. That's where the trigger happened for me in terms of putting a framework together around how do we work through with this. And I'm going to share that with you as well. So mindset can be shifted, and it is a switch of a button is how I would like to put it. Because as soon as you shift your mindset, your attitude, your behaviors, your results, everything gets reframed. And that's where, in terms of the language of the brain that it understands, in terms of how do we break our patterns and shift our mindset. So it's a lot about the mental preparation. It's a lot about the positive self-talk. And what I find most important is to be in service of others. At least that's what my mindset works, that wherever I am, how can I help provide value to people so that it's a meaningful exchange? And something that I've taught people over the years and I've also practiced myself is breathing in. And that is the fastest answer for nerves. Let's say you're feeling very nervous and you have these little butterflies in your stomach. But when you start to breathe deeply, nobody would know how you're breathing. But what happens is that with each breath, you calm yourself down and you center yourself into mindfulness space. And that presence is your higher power presence. And that mindset shift happens so tunely. And why am I talking about breath work is because I believe we have four bodies. One is the physical self. The second is our emotional self. Third is our intellectual self. And the fourth is our spiritual body. And when we are embodying all of them, now these four bodies like to be in equilibrium with each other. You know how all of us as human beings gravitate towards equilibrium? Are these four bodies also gravitate towards equilibrium? So whatever is the biggest ripple or the strongest ripple, that will take over. So when I'm breathing in deeply and I'm grounding myself, I am giving the message to my other three bodies from my physical being that everything is okay. I'm breathing fine. So my heart rate will go down. And my body would be like, hey, I'm breathing okay. Why am I pumping the heart? The heart will say, why am I pumping so much? Why is my breath shallow? Why do I have butterflies? And you will notice yourself. Give yourself 60 to 90 seconds and you will be in that calm state. So that's something, a tip that you can use every time, anywhere, no matter where you are. Nobody gets to know, but this is a simple way of how you can ground yourself and set your mindset to success. So in the next slide, I'm going to share the situational mindset framework. This I created way back in 2013, where I was coaching, and this came to me just from, okay, this kind of makes sense. And I just kind of wrote it on a piece of napkin actually there that, and I tried it out. And since then I've used it with a lot of my coaches through the years, kind of works very well. And this also states that our mindset impacts our conversations. It impacts everything. So, which is why if you, from today's session, you don't take away anything, but you get your mindset right, believe me, success is there, is absolutely yours, even more than what you already have today. So the situational mindset framework is really about me and you or the other person. You can be your own self, B is the other person. So what the situational mindset framework talks about is, am I living, or in that conversation, in that moment, how am I feeling about myself and with respect to the other person? Am I having a superiority complex is something which is used, but am I feeling better than you? Or I have a low regard for the other person? So I call that the A greater than B kind of signal mindset. The last one on the right hand side that you would see is the A less than B. Or am I like, oh my God, I'm going to be talking to that minister, or oh my God, I'm going to be talking to the principal of the school, or I'm going to be talking to my CEO and my manager. I have already put my regard down. I'm already feeling lower in confidence, and my body language will also start to kind of show that. So, but when I am equal footing, then my self-regard and the regard for the second person is equal. Okay. And that's where, the best conversations start to happen. And Priya, if I may use you as an example, I know this is absolute impromptu. Feel free to answer this for me. So let's say when you are in A less than B mindset frame, Priya.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling, okay, oh my God, I'm already overwhelmed and I have to go talk to that person, and you put yourself in that frame. What are the feelings you experience?
I would be low on confidence. I would have lots of nerves, which would make me forget even something that I was prepared for.
Mm.
Even with the knowledge in my head, I will not be able to convey the right things that I would have wanted to. I would always feel that the person is dominating, even if the person is not trying to do that.
Mm. So,
So my mindset would be very low.
mm.
My even intentionally, I will not be able to convey anything good that I may be able to contribute to a meeting.
Okay, so which means if you notice on the left-hand side, thank you so much, Priya. Stay with me for this
And
demonstration.
then
And I really appreciate it because this is totally impromptu, right? You didn't know I was going to call you out on this. So feelings, I'm feeling low in my confidence, and that then impacts my behavior, actions. Oh, I even forgot something that I was supposed to say. And if I was to convince the other person, I would not be able to do that. So what happens to your conversation quality then, Priya?
I'm not contributing well to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the
What's the
person may not think if the person's meeting me for the first, second, or as many times he may have met me, but he would realize that I am not the perfect person for this meeting and may not consider me for further meetings where he feels that even though I'm knowledgeable, if he knows me already, but if
Yeah.
he feels that I cannot convey it, he would be like, even with all the knowledge, it's of no use getting her on board.
So impact on work, impact on relationship, impact on self. If you could nail that down. So what would be the impact on the work?
I would not get more opportunities.
Okay. Impact on relationship with that person.
Uh, yeah, so that person will not think of my worthiness in his mind or her mind would go down.
And that's the external word. What about the impact on your own self, Priya?
I would by and by go worse and worse, become lower in my own self-esteem. My own confidence would go down because if I would have started from here with those nerves, and because the other person is kind of not rejecting me, but at least I'm out of his syllabus by and by and by, moving out of that place where he considers me worthy. So when I do not get more opportunities, I would realize what I've done, and it would affect me obviously all negative way.
So you go on a negative downward
Loop,
spiral.
loop,
It's a
and
loop
yeah,
that
loop.
comes. So it's a negative spiral. Now I'm going to
Absolutely.
shift your gears. And you know what, Priya? This was some other Priya. who had this low self-regard. Now I want you to put the hat of the A equal to B, positive. We are equals. So now what are the feelings when you enter that room?
I'm going with confidence, the correct amount of confidence. It's neither under nor over.
Thank you for sharing that and specifying that. Because if you go A greater than B, it can be another
Disaster.
another disaster, totally extreme to what we spoke about. So, okay, equal, the right amount of confidence, and the feeling is positive.
Absolutely.
Mm.
It's actually you walk in with positive feeling and then you scan the environment.
Yes. And what are your behavior and actions then when you go as an equal in the room?
Relaxed,
Hmm.
true to yourself,
Hmm.
and able to open to a very normal conversation, taking ideas in and responding to it in a one-on-one manner.
Hmm.
According to the situation, according to the question, it would vary, but
Hmm.
at the same time, it would be like the person is able to connect with you well. You'll have a rapport, which is good.
So, because I'm relaxed, my whole body, my whole being comes together to serve me. In terms of my brain is functioning, my emotions are in balance, my voice and tonality, everything comes in, and which means also what comes with me is the presence. The
A
presence,
natural flair.
a natural. So you're natural, and whenever we are our natural selves, our natural, strong, confident selves, we perform the best. It's
Absolutely.
effortless because we are in flow. So, what happens to the conversation quality then, Priya?
I think it's the optimum.
Mm-hmm. And
Obviously, I'm assuming that the person on the other side is also treating it as A equal to B. And then the conversation is absolutely optimum. You are neither overpowering someone nor are you getting overpowered. You are able to discuss as one-on-one. You have your ideas which you're putting across. You are open to the ideas coming from the other side, and it's a healthy, unfiltered conversation which can get you the best results.
absolutely. So the relationship gets built properly, and probably a lot many more follow-up conversations that come up post
Yeah,
that,
I
whether
think
you get to the objective of the meeting or not. But the fact is, the rapport has got built in very well, and it all started with the mindset shift that happens, or the mindset that you came with. So, what is the impact on yourself in this case?
you come back just as if you just walked out of a normal chit chat with any person,
Oh.
and that makes you happy. That makes you feel contented. You
Mhm.
are, I think you carry a mindset which you will be able to carry in subsequent meetings also, because
Okay.
you have at the back of your mind how that meeting went with that kind of mindset, and it just grows. And I think it should become an inert characteristic.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. So I hope our audience are watching us can actually see the difference of just how I am setting an intention for myself as I step into that room, whether I'm feeling inferior or I'm feeling that, oh my God, everybody in this room is so much more superior or has so much more to offer than me. Vis-a-vis when I see myself as an equal, whether I'm talking to a CEO or whether I'm talking to a junior person, I see the humanness in the other person and not the, how would you call, the label or the
Oh,
post or the designation that is there. So we are all playing different roles, and the quality of my relationship, the quality of my impact, the quality of my work significantly goes up. So my friends here and whoever are watching, see if you can make that one shift in yourself today of how, and just in terms of all you got to do is observe when you're walking into that important meeting on whichever room, whether it's virtually you're entering or physically you're entering, in your mind, how are you putting yourself in that whole scheme of things? That's very, very critical. And that then makes for you being successful or not, or commanding that sentence, or ensuring that you're heard, you're remembered, and you have your impact. And that impact is just by your presence as you walk in with your mindset. Because when the mindset is correct, the rest of the three follow, which is your visual, vocal, and your content impact. And that is why I like to call the name of this session is how do you create impact just with your presence? So if you take away nothing, just take away what is the mindset I want to be in. Thank you so much, Priya, for playing along and demonstrating this exercise. And let me move to the next topic, which is visual, which also, so apart next to the mindset, I'm going in order of priority here. The first and most important is mindset. The second is visual. Visual is what is your posture power? What is it? How are you sitting or standing? So right now I'm sitting alert in front of you. So what happens is that it is perceived as a positive, confident body language. And while it is virtual, I can't see all of you, but I'm hoping that I'm able to maintain good eye contact with you even while I'm here presenting virtually. So it is about, again, as equals, we are here and we are all sitting across the table. Wherever we are, and we're sitting upright because that's what would give you a positive tone there and a positive impression. Now watch me here. I'm just going to try and demonstrate another sitting angle and see the impact. I'm kind of slouching myself down and I'm not having eye contact and I'm just sitting like this and I'm speaking. See how I have reduced my physical or the visual impact, where the confidence might disappear. And now notice again, when I'm sitting here, I'm engaging with you. I have a forward body language. It is my posture power. Okay. And your facial expressions, the emotional connection, all that kind of really stems there. Now, this is about the sitting posture, whether you are sitting around a boardroom table or whether you are sitting in a virtual meeting, it works both ways. Second is when you're standing. So out here, I can't demonstrate standing here, but you can see the right side. I hope you can still see me here. Basically, your ear, your neck, and your shoulder need to be aligned. So I have this picture here on the slide. So if I were to put a string, think of yourself as a puppet, and I've put a string here in the center of your head, and it goes through your ear, your shoulders, your hips, and your kneecap and ankle. All of it is in a straight line, relaxed. So it's a soldier's posture, but not rigidity in the body, but fluidity in the body like a puppet. And you're standing straight, which means your presence is aligned there. What happens is how we are physically standing or visually being or sitting has an impact on biologically our lungs. So if I'm kind of slouching, my lung capacity decreases. And when my lung capacity decreases, my my voice gets impacted because it will not have that much power. If I'm standing straight or I'm sitting straight, my lung expansion happens physically. And that then, which means it can pump out more air and more breath, which means because of the way I'm standing or sitting, it is impacting my tone or my voice. So now mindset is impacting my visual. The visual is impacting the way my tone and my voice comes out. Are you seeing the linkages between all of them? So they are not distinct from each other. We can practice them distinct, one step at a time, but it's the whole package and they're all interlinked together. And it's important to note that. Okay. So this is our visual, which is happening, and it helps us to build connection with people. So body language in terms of your posture, maintaining your eye contact, stand or sit tall, use open gestures. I'm kind of demonstrating it to you, but to me, it's very natural now. But if it's not natural for you, kind of try doing that, practicing it. And moving with purpose, which means I'm not slouching and I'm not kind of dilly-dallying and kind of waving around and kind of walking with my hands in my pockets. I'm actually moving purposefully within terms of the agenda is right there in my head in terms of how I want to do it. And if I'm networking, I'll be a little more relaxed in terms of how I want to be perceived, because a lot times in the real estate world, you need to create that presence, move with a purpose, and yet be relaxed. So that's a fine balance that you're kind of maintaining there. And of course, context awareness, whether it makes sense to dress up in Western or Indian clothes, whatever your attire, just make sure that it is very professional. And there's a whole separate piece in terms of how, especially women dressing, and how do we want to kind of do that so that we get that seat on the table almost instantaneously and we command our presence. And it happens naturally, effortlessly. So that's the beauty of the visual presence that you could do and consider for yourself. Voice. So, like I said, I can really bore you to that very, very quickly by talking very low and talking in a monologue, so that you know that voice is the third most important element and it impacts 38% of your overall 100% impact. Or I can actually engage you with the expressive voice and not use a monotone and have some peaks and troughs, and make sure that I am grabbing your attention by the tone that I'm using, by the energy I'm portraying, by the rate of change of sentences I'm using. Am I using a long sentence? Am I using a short sentence to bring in that vocal variety? So there's a very interesting exercise. We don't have time to do that, but what I do is when I'm doing work with people in the room, then actually have them tell children's stories in terms of different voices. And what it does is, because when we're telling stories to children, children are very good audience. If you're boring them, they will sleep. They'll be like, yo, I don't want to listen to this. But if they're interested and you're able to engage them, a toughest audience actually, they will be glued like this to you listening in, which will tell you you're doing well. And what it tells is that we can use our different vocal cords, and if your range is from 0 to, let's say, +1, -1, through the telling children stories, we can increase your range from 0 to going to -3 to +3. So the vocal variety you get through those exercises is huge, and that then directly also impacts your presence in terms of how you're speaking. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard this and know this. The key skill is here to practice it. Simple steps. Today we have the technology to our advantage. And so record and listen. Tell yourself a story, or think that your audience is a child and just speak it out. Identify your own speaking patterns. Are you speaking very, very fast so that the other person cannot understand at the speech and the rate at which you are speaking, like I'm speaking loud, trying to demonstrate, or it is at a understandable pace so that the listening loop for the audience is getting complete. That's important. So you can record and hear yourself out and give yourself some self-reflection feedback. The other is smile when you're talking. One is it'll improve the visual aspect, and the second is that the expression of connectedness kind of carries through our voice. And of course, I would say it is also context relevant. So if you're in a very serious meeting providing feedback, or in a board meeting, maybe not really smiling and laughing too much, but contained impression. So I guess you get the gist of where I'm going in terms of do smile, but don't always have a stoic face, and the variety. Vary your pace, vary your volume, expressing energy through your voice, and vary sentence lengths. That's very, very important. And last but not the least, in terms of content, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the pyramid principle, and it's really the top-down communication approach where we start with key messages. This is something that I learned very early on in my career, thanks to McKinsey and many other consulting companies, BCG, Bain, they all use some version of the pyramid principle. So it's kind of in my psyche now. I would naturally speak in a structured way, but this is again a skill that can be built. I do teach this separately in terms of how do I structure my content. So it is about keeping your content audience focused, what's relevant, and what are the 3 key main ideas that I want to come and share with you. So that's the structured way of speaking. So now I am aware that we have just about 5 minutes. So I'm going to kind of close this one here. This presentation is shareable. If you need it, we can share it with you. So very, very short. Mindset fuels your presence. It's the starting point. Second is your visual creates a connection with your audience. The voice that you use adds your power, and the structure or the key messages you're speaking, they add to clarity. And the combination of this then becomes very, very powerful for you in terms of how you are creating your presence, just how you're creating your impact just by your presence. And these are all features within your own self. You don't have to go borrow it from someone, but you can build it step by step. And these are some of the action steps. So if you want, you can click a picture of this slide and just kind of one day at a time, start doing these. So step one is just focus on which one you'd like to pick up. While my suggestion is mindset, you can pick up any one, whatever you choose. Apply that chosen technique consistently for this 1 week. Get an accountability partner, work with someone, whether it's your peer, your friend, your parent, your sibling, your friend, whoever, and just share your progress there and discuss that and demonstrate that and reflect. Notice the improvement in your professional presence and even personal presence, because these four are not exclusive to your professional or they are every day, everywhere where you are, where you are demonstrating or showcasing your impact through just your being yourself. And small consistent practices creates lasting effects. So small bites, you don't have to bite the full chunk, step by step, step by step. So I like the saying of Brené Brown. I love the work that she's done, especially around conflict and creating your impact. Authenticity is a daily practice of letting go of who we think we are supposed to be. So presence is practice, not perfection. You already have the impact, otherwise you wouldn't be here in the positions you are in. So have that trust and faith within yourself, the inner confidence to shine bright, and go ahead and amplify yourself, because there is no shortage of how you can amplify yourself. And of course, you can stay connected with me. I'm available for conversations later as well. So I'm going to kind of stop this share and look forward. If you have questions, put it in your chat box, or just feel free to, just ask those verbally.
Thank you so much, Manisha ji, for your such lovely insights. You caught me unaware, but I was glad I was given an opportunity to react and be there. So, very, very practical, very, very doable. And I'm sure with whatever you've said, it's not something that you need to go outside, get some gadgets or do anything like that, but it's just within you. And if you just start doing these, taking these small steps, or even I took the photograph of the one where you said that choose your focus, practice weekly, find your partner, reflect. And if you consistently do small things also, probably it is not imaginable what kind of effect it has to your personality as a whole. And I think it's only when someone recognizes it, do you realize that what kind of change has already come to you. It could be just I think we are having most of the women as our audiences today, and maybe even later on the YouTube. We spend so much of money going to the beauty parlor to have your facials, to have your glows and all of those things. But if you just practice a change in mindset, probably those bills will come down manifold. What do you say about that,
It will
Manisha?
be natural, right? And that's the biggest one to
The
create
glow,
presence.
the
Yes.
glow of satisfaction, the glow of being free, the glow of just being able to communicate so freely, feel confident, that all shows on your skin tone, that shows on your face. You do not need much after that.
Absolutely, absolutely well said. And I knew, Priya, that you would do marvelous in that. It was that gut feel, and the fact that we did speak for a few minutes. I'm like, NLP, yes, I think I can bring her in. So thank you, Priya. You were absolutely brilliant to help me
Thank you so
explain
much for the
that.
opportunity. I did not know I was coming for this. I just thought I'm going to, yeah, I'm good.
No,
Thank you for all that you contribute, but I was not knowing that I will have such an interactive session with you today.
no, I love being here. And you know what? I hate one-way stories, one-way lanes. It has to be a dialogue. That's what makes it meaningful and fun and lively and livable. It
Absolutely.
it has to be at a human level. Otherwise, impact doesn't come. I don't think impact comes.
True. If you don't think, it would not come for sure,
Yes.
because it's the mindset, and I'm sure you affect a lot of mindsets.
Okay.
But so I'll just, since you've said almost everything that needed to be heard or done and all, but according to you, what kind of, if you have to put it on a scale of 10,
Hmm.
what kind of presence, how does the presence affect the meeting on a scale of 10? Just walking
Let's
in
see.
with that confidence.
9 on 10.
Yeah, so,
Presence. So it's
so
your gravitas. Another word for presence is the gravitas that you're bringing into the room.
So
And
if you enter properly, if you have the right vibes going, I think you've almost won the battle.
absolutely. And you've won the battle before you step into the room with your mindset itself.
Yeah, that was
That
100%.
was absolutely.
And any special message, though I always believe that we should not go gender wise, but since most of our audience are women, anything in particular that you feel that women need to work on more than the men?
Like I shared that example because I hear that a lot, is if I'm really pushing a point, I'm always told after the meeting many times that, hey, you were very aggressive. And then I've learned to question back. I said, if I was a man, oh no, then you would be ambitious. So that's one. The second is always,
So I
these,
think that's a lesson for the men. They should learn to accept aggressive women.
it's no, it's about not calling it aggressive.
Yes, that's what the
Ambitious
men.
woman, if the descriptor is ambitious, then it's the same for whatever gender you are.
Yeah, so women have the right to be ambitious. Nothing wrong with
Of
that.
course,
Then
absolutely.
women should be ready to accept it, and the men should be ready to accept ambitious women.
Absolutely. And you know what? We can't leave 50% of the population out, which is men, when we are building this.
No,
Whatever
if
comes
you're
from,
building a community, it has to be
it has
inclusive.
to be
We
both.
cannot again try and do it that after 25 years, the men are saying that, oh, now we as men need to have power. Let's not go there.
No, I don't think will happen. We are too entrenched into patriarchy. That's another debate that I'm very passionate about in terms of matriarchy, patriarchy. But really, in terms of its gender alignment, it's making everyone aware of the microaggressions that exist in society, whether it is pay scale, whether it is on issues in terms of how much work the woman is doing or a man is doing. Those are things about where we need to sensitize the populations and corporates. And that's one part of my work that I really, really love doing because it really drives me internally to make sure that we are on a level playing field. And I'm so happy and so proud of all the work that is being done. And in real estate, I see all the women saleswomen and really talking deals. And I'm like, wow, we've come a long way. So congratulations to all of you and the work that you're doing here, whether with Mahi, Nardeko, or with Dr. Ananta, Priya, all of you. Awesome.
Ma'am, it was great having a session with you today, and I cannot thank you enough. And this was just a glimpse of what you could do to people. So I would request our secretariat to invite you over for probably an in-person event or something where you could be interacting with women, impacting them better, or another virtual one. But
Mm.
we would love to hear you in depth more about what I can make out is that you are very passionate about many more things
Yeah.
and would love to. This was just like touching upon a few points.
This is a
So,
teaser in terms of how do you create your presence. I
yeah.
really hope, and I'll be happy to. And if my urge to you is, yes, virtual is great. It's much easier. But if you really want to have that, build the skill, let me put it that way, then a few hours of in-person practice, nothing beats that.
Absolutely. So I would request Narrateco Mahi, and the Secretariat to have the privilege of having you so that you
You're
could just,
helping me live my passion, so I'm totally okay with it.
and we would love to play along so that it becomes a passion and our lives become better.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great having you, and look forward to the next meeting in person or whichever ways and discussing more with you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for all that you contributed today and taught us the small steps to big effects. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you, all of you, and all the best to everyone. Let's rise together.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.